What have I found with the HEALTECH Quickshifter so far? Well, I haven't test ridden it on the road yet. I've only been able to get it to the test stage on the app. Now the app looks like this, and you have to start off with the setup wizard. It's working now as far as I can tell, but we've still got the sensitivity on the sensor. It's a strain gauge at the bottom there, and it seems to be very touchy at the moment. I can't seem to simulate that in the setup, which is a little bit unusual considering the other types of quick shifters I've got. And the other quick shifters I have, I've got the Translogic in the G6R1000 K6. It is brilliant. It just went straight in, presets from the factory, and it's as smooth as, it's just great. But they're expensive. I've got the Cordona as well in my lower Gen 1. The first module that came had an error in it. I sent it back and they sent me a new one, and that's fine, but it's running into the ECU, and I don't have this understanding with the ECU as much as I would like. So if I bought another one of the Cordonas, I would buy their standalone unit like the Translogic one, because that's the way I think of that. And I also have another one which is I just need the sensor, because it runs into the power commander onto the second Gen 1 I have that I use for the tracks and the country riding and stuff like that. And that is a sensor on your gear lever running into the power commander 5, and that cuts. Now let's talk about the cutting. What cuts what? The power commander one is a fueling module, so it cuts the fuel. On the G6R on the Translogic, that is a ignition cut with into the top of the coil packs. And then thirdly is the Cordona, which is going into the ECU, and I'm not sure, but I think it is cutting the ignition on that as well in the ECU, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So this one, for this TLR, is for the injectors, and this was quite a problem. Rather than the simple take up the fuel tank and then take your airbox out, and then fit the harness into the top of the coil packs. 1, 2, 3, 4, done. But this one, different story, I can tell you. It's been a mission. Let me try and explain. To get access to the injectors on the TLR is in a V. Obviously, it's a V-twin. And at the bottom, below the fuel rails, there's 2 fuel rails, or in the parts manual they call them fuel tubes. I just call them fuel rails. Okay, so there's 2 fuel rails, and directly below them is where the injectors are, where the connectors go. And then there's a plate that holds all the throttle body together. So the access is really limited, really tight. Can't get the connector plies in there. Nothing fits, except, just touching with the edge of your fingers, trying to press the little clip to get it out. The option is to take the fuel rails out, but then you're going to disturb the O-rings, and there's no chance that they're going to be any good after I disturb them, because they're too old, they'll be brittle, and they'll just break and leak. So that'd be more delays than trying to do that. So I finally got the connectors off the injectors, and then plug them in, plug the harness in. If you fitted a quick shifter onto your multi-cylinder inline 4, into the coil packs, one of the plugs will go onto number 1 cylinder, the left-hand one, because it all works from the left-hand side, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Okay. Well, this is the first time I've ever played around with a V-twin, and the number 1 cylinder is the forward-facing one, and then the aft-facing one is number 2. And this bike has 4 injectors, and they're numbered from the factory harness that I later confirmed in the workshop manual. And this is one of the things that confused me, was that it started from the right hand side front. And so number 1, which is they call the primary coil, or the primary injector I should say. So the primary injector is number 1 and it's labelled on the harness, but it's over on the right hand side. So in the sequence goes right hand side front, then number 2 is left hand front, then number 3 is rear left, and then number 4 is right hand. Did I get that right? Yeah. So on the harness, the QuickShifter harness that you get, it has a red dot, and now you have to plug into the harness and then into the injector. Now this is where I was going, okay, where do I plug it into? Because I know from previous experience it's critical. So I thought, well, this doesn't seem to make much sense, but I'll do what I think is right, and I'll plug it into number 1. Number 1, harness into the right hand injector, which I was thinking, that's a bit strange. But anyway, I went ahead and did it. And then when I take it out onto the driveway to run it on the app, it wouldn't kill the engine on the test. Because you have to, it has to actually do a kill of milliseconds to change gear. That's the whole point of it. And it wouldn't do it. So what's wrong? Is it because there's 2 apps, by the way. There's the Wi-Fi app, which I figured out is this one, and there's also the Bluetooth app for the same product. Okay, so this one runs off the Wi-Fi. So I thought I'd done something wrong because I can't pass through the steps of the wizard because the engine won't die for that millisecond. So, and I'm thinking it's all, because, and then it comes up with a brief message saying, check your wiring. That's what they tell you on the app. It goes, no result, and it's check your wiring. So I'm thinking, okay, it is the this plugs with the marks on them, the red marks. So I took it back into the shed, had a think about it, and I thought, okay, I've mucked up the number right hand front or the left hand front. So I took it all apart again, changed the connectors over to the left hand front, which is number 2. Put it all back together, take it out, test it. I've got the engine kill. It actually stalled the engine. As soon as on the app you press the button on the wizard setup, bang, the engine went off, and it says that it can actually stall the engine. So I thought, great, got that right. But the problem was there had no reading of RPM. So the app wasn't showing the engine RPM because there's no signal. So go back, have a look at the workshop manual, and then I realised that in the workshop manual it showed me that they have the fuel injection number 1 is the primary. Coloured plugs from the harness has to go in to, and that is on the right hand side, not on the left hand side. And then this morning it worked. I've got took it all apart, swapped it all around again, and this time on the app, in the wizard, press to kill, and the engine has a little falter, a little stutter, and then you go, hey, yep, it's killing, so that's good. Move on to the next bit. Got engine RPM, I can have the upper and the lower ranges set, and then we can then move over to the sensitivity of the actual sensor on the gear lever. And I just add a little bit to that. In the instructions you get 3 lots of instructions, because you've got 2 modules. There's one here, there's another one here, and you've got the sensor down there. So you get 3 instructions. So it reads all very clearly in that, it's no problem. But it just says about these coloured red marked caps, there's two of them, the male and the female cap on the one harness, and the other three aren't marked. But it just says if the bike has 1 or 3 cylinders, make sure the QSX plugs marked with the red square are connected. That's all it says. Well, in this case, and in what I was thinking of all the other cases, was that plug connection is critical where you put it, and hence I found out the hard way that it had to go on number 1, which is that it's on the right hand side, in this case not on the left hand side. So that was that. The other thing is to understand that it is, one can be Wi-Fi and the other one can be Bluetooth. And if you go into the Wi-Fi, you actually have to go into your settings of Wi-Fi and actually find it and actually allow access to it, which you've got to scroll down a little bit in your Wi-Fi on your phone to actually go, oh yeah, why won't this work? And then you go, oh okay, allow this Wi-Fi. So that was another thing, another learning curve, was to how to connect up these additional Wi-Fis. And what happens is it drops out. You're halfway through the wizard trying to set it up, and it drops out. And if you start it up and it says, okay, now do the testing on the pressure on the gear lever, and you put it into gear without the side stand up, so the side stand's in right now, the side stand is down. If it's down, it cuts the engine off. Okay, no drama. But the trouble is, as soon as the engine stops, it closes off your Wi-Fi, and then you've got to start all over again with the Wi-Fi connection. Whereas, with other systems, which is just the little control module underneath your seat, you can just tap away there instead of stuffing around with a phone. I find it really annoying, actually, this. But anyway, we'll carry on.